1 2 1 2 5 4 5 4 5 4 2 1 5 4 3 2 1. Jordan Chatterton live Friday, 4 o'clock Eastern time. 1 2 1 2. Let me know if you can hear me. 5 4. Let me know if you can see me. Got some housekeeping to do here. 1 second. Please send text. This will likely be. Well, let me wait till we get a couple more people in here before I make some public service announcements. So, for the people who are here, smash that like button. More people that press the like button, the more people that will see this very live stream. Let me get us out on the Twitter here. Hold on. What will be, will be. Hope everybody's having an okay day. Good weekend coming up. Create broadcast. Title. News. Test. Create broadcast. Tweet it. Andrew Brown. Andrew broadcast. Brown. Tweet it. All right. Everybody, smash that like button. Are you in status or North Carolina status coup? Our camera person, photojournalist, let's call him what he is. John is in North Carolina. He has been live from Elizabeth City, I believe, for the last 3 nights and will be live again tonight and this weekend as protests continue down there in Elizabeth City, which is just west of the Outer Banks of North Carolina. As humbly as I could say it, do you see anybody else covering this important story? This, I'm going to say it, cover up on the ground? I don't. So we've been on the ground all week. We will continue to be there tonight. We will continue to be there this weekend. This will be my last show because Sunday I'm going on my honeymoon, which delayed. When did I get married? October. So November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So my honeymoon was delayed 7 months, but we are going Sunday. I will be gone for about 2.5 weeks, which is the longest I've taken off since status coup started. So I am really looking forward to it, to having the, memories with my wife and to get some rest and relaxation. And hopefully the channel will survive without me, I think. Jen will be going live. She got her second vaccine today, so she unfortunately is sicker than she has been. She got a fever in response to the vaccine. So we will have kind of a mix while I'm gone. Jen will be live. She's arranging to have some guest hosts on in my absence. So definitely don't go anywhere. Because status coup will be alive and well while I'm on my honeymoon, which I'm looking forward to. But before that, I think, and I've been saying this, and I will continue to say it, that this is the biggest story in America right now. There's a lot of stories in America. Obviously, the pandemic is still a problem and still going on. But to me, like Ty and I said yesterday, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And I think every day that passes, it's becoming more and more evident that there is a pretty in-your-face cover-up of what actually happened to Andrew Brown, a 42-year-old black man, father of 7. And John, in addition to his coverage last night, where he was threatened with arrest for the crime of asking a police officer a question, we'll show you that. Yeah, that's true. Roland Martin is down there, so credit to Roland Martin. We're not the only ones. Roland Martin, who has a big YouTube channel, he's down there in Elizabeth City. As far as I can tell, we're the only ones every single night covering the protests that I know of. I do not see CNN out there covering the protests. I do not see MSNBC out there covering the protests. I certainly do not see the Young Turks out there covering the protests. Live stream of the honeymoon? Don't think so. No live stream of the honeymoon. Maybe you'll definitely get to see my tan after. So there's a lot to. We're going to go over some of the moments from last night. But John actually recorded an interview that you have not seen yet with Andrew Brown's neighbor, who saw everything play out after the first shot. So John interviewed her. We're going to show that in a little bit. We're also going to show other updates because there is now a relative of Andrew Brown who has come out. Another relative contesting the police's claims that Andrew Brown was only shot at because he tried to reverse and drive forward on police officers. A family member is challenging that claim. Of course, we don't know because they won't show us the tape. They won't show us the tape. And in this day and age, when the police are killing black people essentially on a weekly basis now, it is, at this point, highly unusual and highly suspect that it would take this long to get the body cam footage released. We've already gone over that this would not impede an investigation by releasing the body cam footage. We've already gone over that this does not create a biased or prejudiced jury. In fact, I think hiding the footage and hiding what happened creates a suspicious and biased jury, not showing the footage. But we're going to get to all that. Reminder, smash that like button. We already got 230 people watching. 113 of you have pressed that like button, so I need every single one of you. Smash that like button. More people that press the like button, the more people that will see this very live stream. And I have a challenge for all of you. I have a challenge for all of you watching right now. We have been on a bit of a surge recently in the last month. We are up 170 paid members in a month. Let me repeat that. We're up 170 paid members since the end of March. And a lot of that has come from John's great coverage on the ground in Minneapolis and now in North Carolina. I smell 2,000, and I smell it soon. And I don't want to stop just because I'm going to be gone. So I hope today, if you're not a member, you will consider signing up. Statuscoup.com/join. Your funding, your support is the only way we could afford to cover these stories on the ground. Not everybody could afford it. Obviously, tough times for a lot of people right now. But if you can, I hope today, if you've been on the fence, you will sign up. Statuscoup.com/join. It makes all the difference. And this is how we grow. This is how we bring more people on. We're about to bring on a kind of a third co-pilot to Jen and I. So we'll have more on that when that person joins us. You know the person, but we're not ready to announce it. But we'll be announcing it soon enough that we're getting some additional help. And the only reason we're able to bring this person on in a more permanent capacity is because we've grown. Because we've grown to nearly 2,000 paid members. But we got to get over that 2,000. We got to get over that 2,000. This is how we stay independent. This is how we stay unbought. This is how we continue to not take money from the banks, fossil fuckers, big pharma, big real estate, Silicon Valley, military-industrial complex, defense contractors, and the plutocrats buying off the Democratic Party and the Republican Party because you're funding us. So I really, really hope you will consider signing up. Statuscoup.com/join. We will shout you out live as you sign up. The other day we got a couple. The day before that we got like 25 while I was live. So I'm hoping today we'll get more. So let's get right into it. There's the link, by the way, statuscoup.com/join. The link is also right in the description. I will also put it here. Support our reporting. So we're going to put it at the top of the chat. The new person is not Ty. We love Ty, but he's got a job that he likes. So the new person is not Ty, but you'll like the new person. Don't worry. So John, who's been on the ground there for weeks, not weeks. He's been on the ground in Minneapolis and now North Carolina, combined like 3 weeks to a month. He's been on the ground for at least, I think, 5 days in North Carolina, covering the press conferences, covering the protests, interviewing the residents who are literally being arrested for literally standing up with their hands in the air, protesting. So definitely John's content that I'm going to show you, you're not going to see elsewhere. Let me show you. This is an interview with Andrew Brown's neighbor who witnessed Andrew Brown's execution and who basically says the police are lying. Again, this is an eyewitness and a neighbor who saw what happened and told John, we haven't aired this yet, that they are lying. Let's take a look.
Tell me what happened that day.
I heard one shot and I jumped up. By the time I came to the door, I seen a whole bunch of commotion going on down here with the law. So by the time I got down here, they were standing, actually, he was trying to leave, as you see, child prints.
Yeah.
He was trying to leave, and they were standing about over there where this young man truck is parked. And actually standing behind as he's pulling away, shooting. And of course you could tell because they had to be standing on this side to even him getting shot 4 times on the right side.
Arm. Yeah.
So it's none of what y'all saying is justifiable.
Right.
There was no cop in the way, as they're trying to say now, because if so, why aren't you showing that?
Right, exactly. And did you hear the district attorney say that Andrew, they claimed that Andrew tried to hit the officers with the vehicle?
That was not, no, that did not transpire at all.
Right. And how do you explained it briefly, but how do you feel about them not releasing the footage?
Let's just know that it's something more behind this, which was like I stated.
Would you say it's a cover-up?
Yes, it's a cover-up. Exactly. That's what it is. I mean, an eighth grader can figure that out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if they have nothing to hide, show us.
Show it.
Right, exactly. And how long have you been Andrew's neighbor?
Well, he's only been here no more than a year, actually. But I've been knowing him all my life.
And what can you tell us about Andrew?
He was a good guy.
Yeah.
He was comical, loved his children,
Yeah.
family guy,
Yeah.
He wasn't confrontational, he wasn't violent, didn't carry no weapons, none of that. He didn't even have problems with the young men out in the streets,
Yeah. How was he with his kids?
He loved his children, loved them, like seriously.
Yeah.
He moved here to try, to get them to stay with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry you had to experience that and see that. I'm sorry that we're here for this.
You're fine.
Thank you for talking.
That's Andrew Brown's neighbor. I believe her name was Demetria. And that tells a much different picture, much different story, I would say, than what the police there are saying. So, again, let's be very specific here. The police, even though they won't show us the body cam footage, have said that the only reason they started shooting at Andrew Brown was because he started reversing his car into police, and driving his car forward into police. Well, that neighbor said there was no police in front of the car. They were to the side of the car. And when he was reversing, there was no police behind him. So, I don't know. This isn't the only eyewitness who said they were not behind him or in front of him. They were mostly to the side of him, but he did not reverse his car into police. He did not drive forward into police. She said it emphatically. She also said it's a cover-up. She also made the obvious point, which again, the mainstream media, I don't hear CNN demanding the release of the tapes. They signed on to a lawsuit, but I don't hear their anchors screaming and shaming the district attorney in this city and this county. I don't hear it. Do you? I don't hear MSNBC kicking and screaming for them to release this tape. And she made the point that it's just so much common sense. Even you right-wing Blue Lives Matter folks, if you just take a pause from Fox and Breitbart and whatever you listen to, and just think common sense. If this man was using his car as a weapon, if this man was reversing into police officers and driving forward into police officers. Come on. Don't you think that would have been out 9 days ago? Come on. What does Biden say? Come on, man. And Biden, if you missed my coverage the other day, boy, was that a bullshit speech. Heavy on platitudes, heavy on, resistance, rhetoric. Not really big on actual meat and potatoes and actual, I'm going to lead to get a $15 minimum wage, minimum wage. I'm going to lead to, bring jobs back. I'm going to lead on actually regulating Wall Street. I'm going to lead on actually, giving people health care. It was all like platitudes, but not a lot of actual meat. By the way, 2 new members just signed up. Holy cow. Welcome, Misha. Welcome, Matthew. Wow. Now we are at 1,927. 1,927. Keep signing up. This is my last show before my honeymoon. It would make me so much more calmer, so much more relaxed, so much more happy if we build this family. If we build the Coup community, as my wife called it. Keep signing up, statuscoup.com/join, $5 a month. You could join, $5 a month. This is how we cover this stuff. Keep signing up. By the way, smash that like button. We got 400 people watching. 240 of you have pressed that like button. John will be live tonight. They have moved the curfew back from 8 o'clock at night to, I think, midnight. So the curfew has been moved to midnight. That might sound good, but in reality, I think they're actually doing it for businesses that are complaining about the early curfew. That doesn't mean they're going to actually, allow people to exercise their First Amendment right without threatening them, without tackling them, as we've been showing you the last few days. If you've been watching the footage, for like 50 to 60 protesters out, this is an insane response. An absolutely insane response. You got police in there that look like they're ready to go to the Middle East with the weaponry. And in some instances, they look like RoboCops. Move back, move back. And they're going, like a line dance. And literally, I'm going to show you this. John asked a police officer last night, do you think it keeps people safe to be in riot gear? And he said, yeah, I think riot gear, people are cool with that. This is what he said. We're going to show you that. It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. And it really infuriates me. I get that Biden had his speech and that, there's other news. But why is the media not screaming at the top of their lungs for the release of this tape? Isn't the media's role to demand transparency? I don't care that a judge ruled this. That doesn't mean that the judge should just rule this and, okay, we move on. Why is what happened to this man now over a week ago still a secret? Why is the media not pushing back that releasing the tape does not impede an investigation? That's why I always say we cover what the corporate media covers up, because CNN's not covering it the way it should be covered. MSNBC's not covering it the way it should be covered. And you want to know something? If they did release the tape and it showed what they say it shows, I'd be happy. I'd be perfectly happy to say, well, the tape was released. It does show that he was reversing, into officers, driving into officers. I'd be happy to say it. I suspect that's not what's on that tape, but I'd be happy to say it if that were true. This isn't about, we're just blind and we're just going to say, the police are 100% always wrong, but if they're not wrong and it is justified, you better damn believe this would have been out 9 days ago. And it's insane to me it's really sad that in America, the American people and media, by the way, they will only be outraged if they actually have video. And I understand we all have short attention spans. Digital and social media are creating a whole new ADHD generation where people can only watch something for 45 seconds. Thank you for watching something longer than 45 seconds. But people should be just as outraged as they were with George Floyd, and Dante Wright and Eric Garner for this. Because the absence of a video, the absence of transparency, to me, you should assume what's on that tape is just as bad as George Floyd, is just as bad as Dante Wright, is just as bad as Eric Garner. Keep smashing that like button. So I want to show you how out of control the police are. So I had a conversation with John yesterday, the freelance cameraman, and I said, I don't want to tell you how to do things, but, I think we'd get more out of it if you actually ask police questions. Ask the police questions, because they're probably not going to answer. But if they do, it will probably be very illuminating, their answers, in terms of their tone, in terms of, are they actually willing to talk, willing to explain why they're out there looking like they're playing a Call of Duty game? I didn't expect when he asked a cop a question, he would immediately be threatened with arrest. No, we're not kidding. John asked the cop a very valid question. As far as I can tell, it's not illegal in America to ask a cop a question, and they immediately threatened him with arrest. Let's take a look. This was last night.
And again, there has been absolutely zero violence, zero destruction. People were hanging out, drinking water, chilling.
Why y'all ain't got y'all mask on? It's still COVID out here.
Y'all city probably turned the fuck up right now without y'all.
Hey, how you doing? Mind if I ask you a couple questions? This is your community. Can I ask you how you feel about this?
You have about 2 seconds before you be arrested.
For what?
Leave.
I'm asking you.
Leave.
I'm asking you a question, man. All right, I'm going.
Walk.
All right.
They gonna say ECD,
Hello, so he's the Elizabeth City captain, lieutenant, whatever. He knows who I am. He knows I'm press, so I didn't have to identify myself. I have credentials up in front of him. He could see it very clearly. He just didn't want to. He didn't want to answer the question, so I was threatened with arrest. So I'm not going to push it too far today.
God forbid in America, a journalist might dare ask a taxpayer-funded public police officer a question about how they feel about what's going on in their community. John didn't say, don't you think you're kind of, brutalizing these people? John didn't say, isn't this a cover-up, officer? John said, this is your community. How do you feel about what's going on? The officer, I don't know, could have walked away, could have said, we're not speaking to the press, could have actually answered him. That's a good question. Who do the police work for? And I don't know that police officer's background. And I saw the Blue Lives Matter people online. Well, you're interfering with their job. You're interfering with their job. Well, what is their job? They're literally out like 75 to 100 police officers for 30 to 40 protesters with military weaponry, setting a curfew in a city in which what happened is being hidden. So the very police, and it's not the police per se, it's the district attorney, but the very city that is hiding what happened, and I believe covering it up, is then setting the terms that people that want to exercise their First Amendment right of outrage, that this black man's, at this point, murder is being hidden from the public, what actually happened. They then get to tell you you have to go home at a certain time. And then when a journalist, again, John is doing great work. He wasn't in that police officer's face. He just very simply said, how do you feel about what's going on here? Any comment? And that's what he got. I want to show you another very telling, and keep signing up, by the way. We got 2 new members so far. I would love to get more members before I go on my honeymoon. Thank you very much. By the way, Catherine just signed up as a patron, so we welcome our patrons too. You could sign up through our website. You could sign up via Patreon. We do urge people to sign up through our website. That's statuscoup.com/join, but totally cool if you want to do Patreon as well. We have both. We push website more because who knows, we don't want to be in the position one day if Patreon goes belly up or starts purging people, which they've already done, that we're screwed because all our paid subscribers were on Patreon. So that's why we try to do it through our website, but we totally welcome. If you prefer to do Patreon, you're welcome to go to Status Coup on Patreon and sign up there. But I would love to get closer to that 1,950 today. And again, John will be live tonight, and John will be staying there this weekend. And I did see somebody in the chat say, you need to hire John full time. And I love when people say this. I love John. I would love to bring him on more permanently. If you could present me with your money tree in your backyard, that would be great. Because I can't create money if it doesn't exist. We got me, Jen, Colin, travel costs, marketing costs, equipment costs, and we take no money for the big banks, fossil fuckers, big pharma, big real estate, Silicon Valley. We have no $20 million investor in Jeffrey Katzenberg or other big fat cats investors. We don't have any of that. So unfortunately, we can only pay what we have. But if we keep growing, we'll be able to widen the tent, bring John on more permanently, and hopefully others, because we do want to hire other reporters too. So sign up if you want. If you want people more permanently with the Coup, put your money where your mouth is, if you can. If you can't, that's fine. So I want to show you another clip, and keep smashing that like button. 450 people watching. I want to show you another clip of an officer, really, I think, just a very, very illuminating response to John.
The mayor said where media press is exempt from curfew.
It's kind of leading on to things, man. The press is following them around.
Not necessarily.
You understand that, right? You understand where we're coming from, right?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Why are the press being threatened with arrest?
I'm not threatening anybody with arrest.
No, she is.
The whole night. We've been threatened though.
So the press is exempt.
That's it. Once you have credentials, we can show our credentials, but we legally all hold our cars.
I mean, the mayor said where media press is exempt from curfew.
It's kind of leading on to things, man. The press is following them around.
Not necessarily.
You understand that, right? You understand where we're coming from, right?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Why are the press being threatened with arrest?
I'm not threatening anybody with arrest.
No, she is.
The whole night. We've been threatened the whole night.
Okay. But you can understand where we're coming from, though, right?
No.
That's what we asked you right now. We're just standing asking you.
All right. Did you see all the dirt bikes and ATVs running all around that thing all night long? Did you see those? There's a safety issues right there, okay? There's a safety issues.
What's the safety?
With the ATVs.
Now they're in the curve walk. That's fine. We are not
Protesters
going to
around.
arrest the press.
We don't mind protesters. But with all the other stuff, it makes it a safety issue.
What's that's what we asking right now.
The dirt bikes, the ATVs, all that stuff, that's a safety issue. Okay?
Right. Nobody here has.
I completely understand that. I completely understand. I'm not saying it's y'all. I'm not saying it's y'all. Okay? But you got certain groups that make it unsafe. Okay?
Do you think the police officers in right here make things unsafe?
No. I think everybody's pretty safe with that.
Let's have a
I don't think
conversation with him and
everybody.
he's having a conversation. He's standing here having a
But
conversation.
no, I don't think they were unsafe. Nobody got hurt, did they?
Possibly.
Nah, I was out there all night long. Nobody got hurt. Everybody's fine. Everybody got bonded out. Came out to say hi, man.
Okay.
I gotta go. All right.
Well, I will say, at least credit to the officer for actually answering some questions. So I could say that. Credit to that officer for actually answering questions. unlike his comrade over there who threatened to arrest John for asking a question. So we got to start. Credit to him for speaking with the protesters, answering some questions. A little bit more communication is helpful. With that said, so when John asked, I thought a very good question, do you think your riot gear is keeping protesters safe? And he said, yeah, I think everybody's safe with that. Just very matter of fact, yeah, I think everybody's safe with that. What's the big deal? And nobody got hurt, People we arrested got bonded out. No problem. A couple hours. First of all, and this is a white and black, because there's black police officers there too, acting out of control. But how do you not see that if your role is to protect the citizens and you are showing up with billy clubs, we saw the other day they're holding billy clubs, and you are showing up with shields, and you are showing up with guns, taser guns they had, that doesn't really foster a feeling of community safety? How is it that they don't understand that? And by the way, again, I don't know this guy from a hole in the wall, but when he says, we don't have a problem with the protesters, it's the people riding the ATVs. You do have a problem with the protesters. You've been arresting protesters who are not riding ATVs. He's referring to a couple of people who were riding ATVs in the street, which I didn't know that was a crime either, or a safety issue. I've seen people ride ATVs in the street without being arrested. Most white people in that case. So what is he talking about? When he's saying, we don't mind the protesters, it's the people riding the ATV. You've been arresting protesters every night. And we've been showing on camera, you're arresting people who have their hands up like that and are doing nothing but exercising their First Amendment of outrage at your cover-up. So on one end, you have officers who threaten arrest if you ask a question. And on the other end, you have officers saying, yeah, riot gear? Nah, I think people feel safe with that. I mean, you really just can't make it up. Can't make it up. I want to show you another interview. This isn't with a police officer that I found. This is why I love Status Coup. This is why we do what we do. Because the stuff we're showing you, and this is to tout our own horn. We're not special. We just actually make the effort to go out there and give the microphone back to the people. That is literally our motto. It's not, we didn't mean it to be cheesy. We literally mean hand the microphone to people that you will not see on CNN, that you will not see on MSNBC, that you will not see quoted in the New York Times, the Washington Post. Okay? Let me show you this woman who I thought was just incredible. By the way, welcome new Status Coup member, Shoba. Woohoo! Shoba. I hope I'm pronouncing it correct. 1,928. 1,928. That's 72 members away from 2,000. Oh, I know we have more of you. I know we have more that want to sign up today. I know it. I know there are more of you in this chat that want to sign up and support on-the-ground reporting. Statuscoup.com/join. 72 members away from 2,000. 2,000 will be a huge milestone, by the way, for us. And by the way, just so you know, why we push membership so much is because membership is our core business model. We don't make that much off of YouTube. In fact, YouTube is suppressing the hell out of us. So we don't make a ton off of YouTube. Membership is our core model. We don't have like massive investors. At the beginning of the company, we had a tiny investment from a viewer for $50,000, which just went to equipment. And that was that. That was all we got. Other than that, we have a GoFundMe, Status Coup GoFundMe. We've raised a good amount of money, but that money has been spent in real time going out in the field. I've been to Flint 17 times since 2016. We've been all over this country covering environmental protests, covering Black Lives Matter protests, covering the exploitation of workers, covering mass homelessness. So you are funding this. So don't think we're just asking you money for nothing. We're asking you money so we could do this, so we could fund from the grassroots real journalism. A lot of people ask you for money. A lot of outlets ask you for money, but they don't actually go out there in the trenches and do anything. They just bloviate from a studio. We're doing something different. And by the way, after my honeymoon, I plan on getting back out there. in the field. I have a couple ideas of some stories I want to cover. I kind of want to go to West Virginia. I don't know about you guys. I kind of want to go to West Virginia, and I kind of want to do a little investigating. I kind of want to do a little exposing of one Joe Manchin. I would like to go to West Virginia, and I would like to cover, expose, and investigate Joe Manchin. Shall we call him President Manchin, who the actual President Biden seems to be allowing to run the country. The squad, Bernie doesn't want to challenge him. They don't want to play hardball, Bernie or the squad. They don't want to block legislation. And they want to, Biden wants to use Joe Manchin as an excuse. So if the squad's not going to challenge Joe Manchin, if Bernie's not going to challenge Joe Manchin, well, somebody's got to expose this motherfucker, don't you think? So if you're in West Virginia, I'll be seeing you soon. I got to line it up. I haven't lined anything up yet, but that's the goal. And as a reminder, we will be on the ground tonight. The curfew was moved from 8 o'clock to midnight, but we will be live later. When I say we, John will be live. So I want to show you this incredible woman. And this is why we're there, to show you what's actually going on and give the microphone back to the people.
Can you tell me your thoughts about the police, what their actions here?
I think that just like always, the police are inciting the violence. Police are inciting the riots. Police are furthering the violence in the situation that they claim to be stopping and protecting. That is not what is happening here. For every day, these people have been peaceful. These people have been calm. These people are simply standing together with their collective trauma and their collective grief. There is no reason for law enforcement to be taking the political stance that they are taking.
Absolutely.
There is no reason. It looks like they're leaving right now, though, and that would be a beautiful thing. Is that what's happening back there?
Well, no, they just pulled up a bus.
Oh, maybe they're going to load them onto the bus, because that's how they get here, on the bus. But it's a waste. What I think is, this is the perfect physical manifestation of why we need to defund the police.
Yeah.
Why we need to defund the police, because this is a huge waste of money. You are standing in one of the poorest counties in North Carolina. The amount of money that is being wasted for these law enforcement officers to be out here tonight patrolling and enforcing calm on a situation that doesn't need calm, doesn't need calming. This is why we need to defund the police. They have too much money. These kids are in schools that don't have books, and schools that don't have proper PPE to protect them from coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
But we are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last week to patrol a problem that doesn't exist.
Yes.
To control black bodies. That is all that is happening here. This is not about safety. The people need to untether their sense of safety from law enforcement, because law enforcement do not keep us safe. Law enforcement do not keep you safe. These people were not a threat to anyone. They are not a harm to anyone.
Nope.
The law enforcement is not creating safety in this moment, nor do they ever create personal safety for black and brown people. What we need to see, and what we are seeing here, when people say to you they don't understand what defund the police means, this is what defund the police means. It means stop giving them money to waste on controlling, patrolling, and controlling black and brown bodies. Stop giving them money to exacerbate black trauma, and instead put that money into making sure that that black trauma is being properly treated, that our children have good schools, that our children have access to health care, and that their parents can afford a place to live that is reasonable and that is affordable. Absolutely. We can do all of that if we defund the police. Defunding the police has nothing to do with your safety, because this gross display of economic misappropriation has nothing to do with your personal safety. Defund them.
Thank you. You want to give your name?
Dawn Blagrove. I'm the executive director of Emancipate NC.
Thank you very much. That was very powerful. Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership. Why is she not on CNN? Why is she not on MSNBC? Why is she not quoted or a piece done on her in the New York Times or the Washington Post? And I saw some people saying she was arrested after. I can't confirm that. I don't know. I don't know if she was. I could ask John, but I'm not positive if she was. But damn, the truth and the fire. And it's fire because it's true. Look at the connections she was making too, by the way. This is one of the poorest counties in North Carolina. A huge reason that they don't have the money for education, healthcare, public services, utilities, is because it's going to these police so they could play out Call of Duty in real life. Dawn is her name. The money that should be going to children, and this is a minority community, Elizabeth City, just west of the Outer Banks. It's going to this completely occupying army, and it's not just Elizabeth City, by the way. Minneapolis PD, Chicago PD, NYPD, LAPD, PD everywhere, police everywhere. That's where your money's going. That's where your healthcare's going, in addition to the 10 wars we're in and the 10 countries we're bombing right now. And when she said, this is what we mean by defend the police, what they're doing right now, how could you argue with that? And by the way, I know for a fact the police are monitoring this channel. I know for a fact, I showed you yesterday, they were caught on tape monitoring Ford Fisher's channel. He's an independent journalist who streams from a lot of places around the country. He's there now. He's been streaming too. They were caught on tape that they were watching his Facebook Live and monitoring his live. So I know for a fact they've been monitoring John's lives. They might be watching right now. Hello. What is the point? And yes, new sub, subscribe to this channel too. What is the point, really? What is the point of what you're doing? If they're not out there with guns. They're not out there with weapons. They're out there, in some cases, cursing at you, screaming at you. Okay, some of them are in ATVs. I mean, what is the point of having, it looks like to me by my eyes out, like 50 to 75 officers, all in military gear, shields, billy clubs, visors, some of them, tasers? What is the point of this? And don't you understand, if you're the police, and I'm not saying all the police want to be out there, I'm sure many of them don't even agree with it, and it's just a job to them. They got to feed their family. But if the community already thinks that you are killing them, and they already think you're covering it up, you think it's going to make things better to then essentially play out Call of Duty on people who are just exercising their First Amendment right peacefully? It's beyond insane to me what they're doing. By the way, welcome new Status Coup member Ashley. Woohoo! Now at 1,929. 1,929. We're up 4 members. And I think a patron. Let's keep going, baby. This is my last show before my honeymoon. So, like I said, I will be a lot calmer and a lot more relaxed if we raise this even higher before I go. And as a reminder, John will be live tonight from North Carolina. We're keeping him here through the weekend because they're expecting further protests this weekend. Just so you know, if you're new here, don't expect YouTube to notify you when we're live. So if you want to get a text message when we're live, text COUP to 370-370. Text COUP to 370-370. That way you'll get a text message when we're live. Hold on. Sorry, I got a text message from John. So make sure you're on our text list. All you got to do is text COUP to 370-370, and you get a text message when we're live. Because I'll tell you what, I think at this point, YouTube might notify you 20% of the time. Don't even get me started on YouTube. I'm in a good mood, and I don't need to go on a rant on YouTube. By the way, 700 people watching, only 500 likes. We need more likes. And if you don't mind, folks, for the people that came late to this, I want to replay. It's short. I want to replay Andrew Brown's neighbor, who John interviewed yesterday. I want to replay it for people that didn't see it. She saw what happened. She was right there, and she says they're lying. This is for the people that came late. I want them to see this.
Tell me what happened that day.
I heard one shot, and I jumped up. By the time I came to the door, I seen a whole bunch of commotion going on down here with the law. So by the time I got down here, they were standing. Actually, he was trying to leave, as you see, the tire prints. He was trying to leave, and they were standing about over there where this young man truck is parked, and actually standing behind as he's pulling away, shooting. And of course, you could tell because they had to be standing on this side to even him getting shot 4 times on the right side.
Yeah.
So it's none of what y'all saying is justifiable.
Right.
It was no cop in the way, as they're trying to say now, because if so, why aren't you showing that?
Right, exactly. And did you hear the district attorney say that Andrew, they claimed that Andrew tried to hit the officers with the vehicle?
That was not, no, that did not transpire at all.
Right. And how do you, you explained it briefly, but how do you feel about them not releasing the footage?
Let's just know that it's something more behind this, which was like I stated.
Would you say it's a cover-up?
Yes, it's a cover-up. Exactly. That's what it is. I mean, an eighth grader can figure that out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if they have nothing to hide, show us.
Show it.
Right, exactly. And how long have you been Andrew's neighbor?
Well, he's only been here no more than a year, actually. But I've been knowing him all my life.
And what can you tell us about Andrew?
He was a good guy.
Yeah.
He was comical, loved his children,
Yeah.
family guy,
Yeah.
He wasn't confrontational, he wasn't violent, didn't carry no weapons, none of that. He didn't even have problems with the young men out in the streets,
Yeah. How was he with his kids?
He loved his children, loved them, like seriously.
Yeah.
He moved here to try, to get them to stay with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry you had to experience that and see that. I'm sorry that we're here for this.
You're fine.
Thank you for talking.
This is not the first eyewitness to say Andrew Brown did not reverse his car on police. Andrew Brown did not forward his car or drive his car forward on police. Andrew Brown didn't have a gun. According to the family lawyers, at least the 20 seconds they were shown showed that officers were firing at him while saying, "Let me see your hands." Shooting while saying, "Let me see your hands." So I don't think Demetria has any reason to lie. And also, it's good that, we get a little funny guy, peaceful guy, didn't have a gun, didn't have a problem with anyone. They issued a search warrant on him, reportedly, for cocaine. You know how many white people in America are dealing cocaine? And if they get arrested, they're alive. Cocaine isn't a capital crime last time I checked. Maybe he's dealing cocaine because he's got 7 children and there's no other opportunities there. She's not the only one contesting this. This is new. Andrew Brown Jr.'s relative disputes the official account of the fatal police shooting. A relative of Andrew Brown Jr., who was shot by sheriff's deputies last week, has ordered offered a direct account of what happened in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, when police fired on the 42-year-old black man. Let me zoom in so you can see more. The newest account underscores the differences that have already emerged between Brown's family and the Pasquotank district attorney. Brown was fatally shot when Pasquotank County deputies were trying to execute a warrant. On April 21st, the relative, who does not want to be identified, told CNN that Brown started backing up his car and they started shooting the front windshield of his car. Backing up his car and they started shooting the front windshield of his car. The relative added, and then he took off to go across the yard and they started shooting the back window of his car. So, cops in front, cops in back, cops on the side of his car. A photo shared by the relative appears to show the Pasquotank Sheriff Department's truck in Brown's driveway. The relative also took pictures of Brown's car after the shooting that appear to show at least one bullet hole in the front windshield. Protesters and family members have called for the release of body camera footage to determine what led to the shooting that came amid national conversations about policing and racial bias. Gotta love CNN's framing. National conversations over policing and racial bias. Is that what CNN thinks is going on? Conversations? During the court hearing about the video Wednesday, District Attorney Andrew Womble, who, by the way, has fought to hide the video from the public, said law enforcement opened fire only after Brown's car came in contact with them. The next movement of the car is forward. It is in the direction of law enforcement and makes contact with law enforcement. It is then only then that you hear shots. Well, that is contrary to what his attorneys said. They said they started shooting with him sitting, parked in his driveway with his hand on the wheel. Who am I going to believe? His family's attorneys or the police? I'm going to go with the family's attorneys because it would be pretty risky of them to lie about what was on that video. But the relative said they did not see Brown's car come in contact with any officers, and he was not backing up towards the officers, and there was none behind him. The relative became very emotional while talking about Brown. Quote, "It's extremely heartbreaking to have to watch and go through knowing it's one person you can't bring back." Brown's family and attorneys, who had watched 20 seconds of video earlier this week, said Wednesday he was driving away to save his life from gunfire. And I just want to say, I think Blue Lives Matter, folks. If you just take a quick break from Fox News and the right-wing media, okay? Tell me, just common sense, right-wing. If this district attorney is saying law enforcement opened fire only after Brown's car came in contact with them, the movement of the car is forward, it is in the direction of law enforcement and makes contact with law enforcement, it is then and only then that you hear shots. Well, if that's the case, why won't you release the tape to the public? And by the way, in direction of law enforcement, that's a very particular and lawyered up phrasing. Is it possible that he drove in the direction of law enforcement after law enforcement started firing from him? From the side, possibly from the front, if there's a bullet in the front window? We don't know. But if this district attorney has nothing to hide, if the video shows what he says, you could just settle all this right now. Because what the district attorney is basically saying is Andrew Brown was using his car as a weapon against police officers. Well, if that's true, show us the tape. Show us the tape. Did you say CNN talks common sense? Oh, no. I was saying, look at CNN's framing that we're just having political conversations here about policing and racial bias. And this is why I'm personally outraged. And I know John, who's on the ground for us, is outraged. Because at the end of the day, if it showed what they say it shows, we would have had this 9 days ago. And at the end of the day, you know, the American people are very visceral. The American people need to see video to be outraged, apparently. But in my view, Americans should be, at this point, just as outraged as they were when they saw that George Floyd video, just as outraged when they saw the Dante Wright video, just as outraged when they saw the Eric Garner video, because the absence of video, to me, tells you all you need to know about what's on that tape. Welcome new Status Coup member Tracy. Woohoo! Now we're at 1,930. Holy cow, 70 members. 70 members away from 2,000. Oh my God, what a milestone. What a milestone it would be to hit 2,000 members. I don't want to, maybe miracles could happen and we could hit 2,000 before I hit my honeymoon on Sunday, which I'm going on Sunday. If you're late to this, I'm going on my honeymoon. I'll be gone for a few weeks, but the channel will still go. Jen will be live. We're also going to have some guest hosts, and, depending on what happens around the country, John might be on the ground while I'm gone. And I look forward, when I get back, I'm going to be getting back in the field. So looking forward to getting back out there. John and I will go places together. So looking forward to it for sure. And keep signing up. 70 members. You are funding this. You are funding this on the ground reporting. You. Like I said, we don't have any we don't have investors giving us millions of dollars. No. We don't have investors giving us hundreds of thousands of dollars. I kind of wish. If they were progressively aligned, if they're progressive, we don't want any money from the big bankers, fossil fuckers, big pharma, big real estate, Silicon Valley, or any of that. But you got a neighbor saying the cops are lying. You got family relatives saying the cops are lying who were there. You have other neighbors who have said they saw them shooting with him just driving away, not driving into police. And I don't know, if the cops were shooting at me, I would try to drive away too. It's called fight or flight. You are literally driving for your life at that point. I want to show you more of John's reporting from last night. Let's take a look at some more of what he did last night, which, again, other than one or two other people, he's the only one there.
Move back! 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 Hey, where do y'all live? Y'all live here? We don't like you! Y'all can understand that!
Y'all already know that. We don't want no trouble. We don't want no trouble between y'all.
For nobody.
We want justice.
We just want justice.
And the whole lot of y'all,
That's all.
y'all already know
That's all.
what happened was right.
That's all.
Y'all already know it.
Yeah, we will leave. We're going home.
Leave now or you're going to be arrested.
No, we should leave.
Yeah, don't leave. Got one. Come back.
Gary, put that in the comments, y'all. Gary is about to get arrested. Gary is moving. Do not resist, Gary. Do not resist, Gary. Do not resist, Gary. Give him your hand. Give him your hand. Give him your hand.
Police have this area surrounded, so this is not by the bridge like they were the past 2 nights. This is over here by the police station, and they started a bit earlier than they have been the last 2 nights with the curfew enforcement. Man, do you feel safe here with these officers?
Nah.
What do you think about all this?
I think it's wrong for just this little amount of people.
Right. I mean, there hasn't been any violence, no destruction, nothing here. So this is why this is not justified.
Yes, sir.
I'm back in town now, and y'all want wherever y'all want to, but at the same time, when my lady's scared, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna voice my opinion. It's right here in my neighborhood with people that I love, and y'all trying to hurt them. Ain't nobody out here would never sit back and hurt anybody out here. Nobody. Do any harm to anybody. Not unless they put harm towards them. Or their siblings. or their young ones. The same way y'all do. The same way y'all will affect. The same way y'all would want to act. The same results that y'all would want from y'all siblings. But we can't get the same thing.
Hey, how you doing? Mind if I ask you a couple questions? This is your community. Can I ask you how you feel about this?
You have about 2 seconds before you be arrested.
For what?
Leave.
I'm actually.
Leave.
I'm asking you a question, man. All right, I'm going.
Walk.
All right. So he's the Elizabeth City captain, lieutenant, whatever. He knows who I am. He knows I'm press, so I didn't have to identify myself. I have credentials up in front of him. He could see it very clearly. He just didn't want to. He didn't want to answer the question, so I was threatened with arrest. Hey man, can you tell me how do you feel safe with these officers around?
Nah, I don't feel safe with the officers around. The people didn't murder Andrew Brown. The sheriff's department murdered Andrew Brown. They're oppressing everybody out here. They're oppressing the media. I can't believe they're disrespecting my friends like you guys. All y'all is an open eye. I just want to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But they're highly disrespectful to the media. I'm just asking for anybody to step in and please call off whatever dogs these are. I'm calling them dogs because these are savages. They're barbaric. If you guys pan the camera this way, it's not a lot of people out here.
No.
But they're all out here in military style gear. We out here just protesting for our human rights. We believe it was injustice going on out here. They murdered Andrew Brown, and they're trying to cover it up or whatever. We're not here for it. So.
We cannot roll the people over. We are leaving, but we are also working. We know the ordinance which says that if we are going to and from work, that we will not be arrested. So know who you're talking to and what you're talking about. Don't just violate people's rights for no reason. Have a reason if you're going to step out on that limb. Don't die on that hill. That ain't the hill you want to die on.
Can you tell me your thoughts about the police, what their actions here?
I think that just like always, the police are inciting the violence. Police are inciting the riots. Police are furthering the violence in the situation that they claim to be stopping and protecting. That is not what is happening here. For every day, these people have been peaceful. These people have been calm. These people are simply standing together with their collective trauma and their collective grief. There is no reason for law enforcement to be taking the political stance that they are taking.
It's really heartbreaking especially when you grow up here and you don't think anything like this could ever happen, and not in your own backyard at least. Like, we see it all around the country, and it hurts on a different level to see it in your own town. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Andrew Brown! Andrew Brown! Andrew Brown! Hand him forward, please!
So as that was just some of his coverage. He was live last night. He was actually going to take the night off because, it's exhausting going all day and night from these protests. So last night, John was going to take just one night off and try to rest up before the weekend because tonight, Saturday, and Sunday are expected to be pretty significant protests. But he couldn't take the night off because he is a journalist and rushed there when... where the protests were, rushed there when contacts told him the police were coming in military style and really threatening violence against protesters. So kudos to John. I mean, I don't think people really, I know it because I've been out there in his shoes, but you're covering stuff, even when he's not on camera, he's covering stuff during the day, talking to residents, getting footage, that kind of stuff. And then all night. And it's not like, leisurely live streams. This is high intensity stuff. So really, really credit to him for this coverage. And I also want to point out, because he just sent me this. Sorry, I got to load it. Hold on. He just texted it to me, so I got to load it into my system here. Hold on one second. Curfew. But the cops sent out, or the district attorney or whomever it is, sent out something about the curfew and clarifying about the media, which to me is extremely dangerous and shows you they're itching to arrest media. So let's take a look at this here. This is from the county of Pasquotank, which is the county where Elizabeth City is. I am writing this letter to you in my capacity as county attorney for Pasquotank County. As you know, on April 26, 2021, at 12 o'clock, Lloyd E. Griffin, chairman of the Pasquotank County Board of Commissioners, declared a state emergency that was amended on April 27th at 1 p.m. to impose a county-wide curfew from 8 to 6 a.m. The second amendment will go into effect on April 30th, today, at 11 a.m. to impose a county-wide curfew from 12 a.m. midnight to 6 a.m. This statement is to clarify that the curfew is not applicable to and will not be enforced against working journalists as long as those journalists are actively involved in covering the events in Pasquotank County and are not involved in protest activities. I trust this communication clarifies your questions in the matter. So let me be very clear what that is. The police don't get to decide which journalists are practicing journalism and which one are part of the protests. That's not how this works, okay? It is very clear who's a journalist and who's not. Some journalists have cameras and they're filming you. Some are out there with little notepads. If they're print journalists, they normally have a press badge on them. Sure, there's some protesters who are live streaming the protests and, claim their media or whatever, but they're not actual, working journalists. So that's a little bit more of a gray area. But it's very, very clear who's a journalist. And by the way, it's not joining the protest to, as a journalist, ask the police a question. That's not joining the protest, because I think that's what they're trying to make happen. They're trying to make it so that they could arrest somebody like John or others that maybe ask police a question, or maybe say to the police, don't you think this is a little excessive? That doesn't mean you're a protester. That means you're doing your job as a journalist. So to the Pasquotank County, you don't get to decide who's a journalist and who's not. Sure, if there's somebody claiming to be a journalist that's screaming at the police or shouting at the police and, threatening the police or whatever, that's different. But if a journalist like John is simply saying, don't you think this is a little excessive? Or they're being peaceful, he's not protesting, he's covering it. So just so you know, I wanted to show you that because it seems to me they're trying to open it up so that they could arrest journalists and claim, no, they're not journalists. They were part of the protesters. So, yeah, I don't think the police should be the ones dictating what is and is not journalism in America. You agree? I hope so. By the way, 2 new members. Holy cow, it's raining members. Welcome, new Status Coup members. Carla, new Status Coup member. Ira, woohoo! 1,932. 1,932. So we're up 7 members so far while I'm live. 7 members. Keep signing up, statuscoup.com/join. We really, really appreciate it. As I say, this is what you're funding. On the ground reporting. It is not cheap. Flights, hotel, rent-a-car, food, equipment, just extending the car. We've already extended it twice. They pay you up the ass to extend rent-a-cars. Obviously, we pay John, for his work, separate from our costs, hotel, flight. We pay him separate, obviously. We've given him bonuses for his great work at the Capitol attacks. We gave him pretty significant bonuses. Minneapolis, we've given him bonuses. We're going to give him a bonus for this. So unlike other outlets, we actually try to compensate people for their great work. But you help us do that. So please, please sign up, statuscoup.com/join. We really, really appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what more to say. Honestly, I've been traveling for years. I've covered police brutality in Chicago. I've covered police brutality in Detroit. I've covered police brutality in Dallas. I've covered police brutality in Cleveland. I've covered police brutality in North Dakota, in Standing Rock. For months, I was there. A couple other places, New York City, Washington, D.C. I've never seen something that is this obvious and this indicative that they're hiding something. I've never seen this before. And by the way, the Minneapolis Police Department, tried to hide the video of George Floyd being kneed to death. But fortunately, a brave eyewitness leaked that video, and the rest was history. And we saw protests all over this country throughout the spring and summer. But I've never seen it where they just are refusing. I mean, with Laquan McDonald, yes, but that wasn't as big of a national story. They're refusing to release the video when this is already a major national story, even though the media isn't covering it the way it should be covering. They're already refusing to cover this the way to release the video when it's already a national story, when there's already protests. So I don't know. Common sense. Common sense. You really think what's on that video is what the district attorney said? You really think that? I don't think so. I just don't think so. Hold on. Sorry, a lot of things happening while I'm live. Cash App. statuscoup.com/support. So we'll see what happens tonight. We'll see what happens the rest of the week. The judge said that they have 10 days. So this was 2 days ago, but the judge said they have 10 days to not release the video, but to send the video to the family. To show the video to the family, the whole body cam, 4 police officer body cams, as well as a dash cam video. I'd like to know if 4 other officers were just reinstated, where's their body cam footage? Why is there only 4 body cams and 1 dash cam if in total, according to the county sheriff, there were 7 officers on the scene? Why aren't there 7 body cams, dash cam footage? From reports that have already been out there, there was a camera on a light pole near his house. So why is there only 4 body cams for 4 officers when there were 7 officers involved? That needs to be asked. Why did they only show the family 20 seconds if beyond that there was 4 body cams and 1 dash cam? Why? You tell me. It just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. And that's why John is out there. We think it's important because we think, as of now, unless they show us the video and it says what they say, you got the biggest cover-up right now in America happening in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, which is, North Carolina, it's the South. There's a huge, huge history of slavery, racism, police terrorism. So it's not unusual that you would have a cover-up. Andrea, they made this case sound so cut and dry that people wouldn't think twice. Status Coup brought this story to the forefront. Thank you. Thank you. Thank John. Absolutely. Human being there, probably having it edited to make it look like he tried to harm them, Jordan. Well, that would be illegal. So if they're editing it, that is highly, highly against the law. So let's hope they're not doing that. I think it's possible that my question, if there's 7 officers involved, why do we only have 4 body cams? Why? Why do we only have 4 body cams if there's 7 officers? Were those other officers' body cams not on? because we just have the county sheriff reinstating those officers, saying that they were, the video shows they weren't shooting, so they're reinstated. Well, how do I know that? How do I know that? If their body cams weren't on, we're just going to take the county sheriff's word for it that those officers weren't shooting? And by the way, their complicity, whether they committed a crime, is not only based on whether they were shooting or not. There's officers in the George Floyd case that were standing around who are being charged, who were charged and are facing a trial for standing around. They weren't kneeing George Floyd to death, but they were an accessory to the crime, or at least they're being charged as accessories to the crime. So why is it that these 4 officers are reinstated just because they didn't shoot? Let's see what they were doing. Let's see if they were in a position to stop the other officers from wrongfully shooting. And oh, by the way, why are these 3 officers that are still on leave being paid? We pay for these officers' salaries. So if you're not going to show us what these officers did, why are the protesters and citizens in Elizabeth City paying for them to be on vacation right now if we don't know what they did? CNN's not asking. MSNBC's not asking. Nobody's asking. It's absolutely ridiculous and absolutely outrageous. By the way, I want to give a shout out because I saw some people saying we have a Cash App. We do have a Cash App. I wish to God I knew the link to that Cash App right now. Jen is not feeling well, so not sure. But what we do have is a GoFundMe. And I didn't realize until now that we just got a couple hours ago, we got a major donation. Thank you so much, Brian. $500. Holy cow. That literally is going to help cover hotels, food. So thank you. That is an incredibly generous donation. Brian Gibbs, $500. Thank you, Corey, $5. Anonymous, $25. Donald, $25. We've raised, this is in 3 years, so nobody have a heart attack. $153,000, $153,078. This is cumulatively raised since we launched this in September of 2018. So we do not have, let me be clear, we don't have that much in the bank. I wish. We've spent a lot, most of that actually, on equipment, paying freelancers around the country that we've used for a lot of stories, paying for travel, hotels, food, rent a car. It's very expensive to do on-the-ground reporting. That's why most outlets, instead of actually doing on-the-ground reporting, just provide you bullshit and bloviation constantly and put 2 pundits on a screen to fight. We don't do that. We actually go out there and provide actual journalism. So thank you to the GoFundMe donors. Thank you to our Super Chats, folks. There's the link to the Super Chat. Oh, Brian Gibbs is right in the chat. Brian, thank you so much for that incredible donation. We really, really appreciate it. We appreciate all donations, but those higher ones literally make the difference in keeping us out there. So we really, really appreciate it. By the way, I just want to make a point. So just to be clear, because I've had some people reach out to me, if you take our live stream when we're on the ground and we're live, and you then stream that on your channel, we are going to file a copyright against you. I just want to be clear. If you take our live stream while we're live, that we are paying for John to be down there, and we are on the ground, and you take our live stream and then just stream it on your channel, even if you're doing commentary around the live stream and making money off of our reporting, we will file a copyright against you. I don't care if you're a fan of us. I don't care if you're a supporter of us. You can't just rip our feed, stream it so you can make money in Super Chats and all that, and then send us emails crying when we issue a copyright strike against you. Because I've had a few people this week rip off our stream, which we're spending a lot of money to do this reporting. You're not. I'm sorry if you can't afford to do the reporting. I'm sorry if your intentions are good, but it's pretty shady and not and frankly should be illegal if it is illegal, to take other people's work and just steal it, in some cases, cover up our logo and put a different logo up, and then like almost pretend like you're covering it. If you want to show our clips after the fact, you're welcome to. We're posting shorter clips the next morning. But don't steal our footage and then email me how dare you issued a strike against us, and this is how I feed my family, and blah 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 blah. I'm sorry, but you don't get to steal our footage, which is theft, and then we issue a copyright strike, which is completely within our right, and then you send me an email that this is how you feed your family, and blah 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 blah. And by the way, one of the people that did that, I looked at his channel, and is pretty thick white supremacist. So cry me a river. Just throwing that out there. We try to be cool with everybody, but this is our footage. We're paying for the reporting. You're paying for the reporting. We're paying for John to be down there. You're paying for John to be down there. So if you're going to take our footage, throw it up on your channel, particularly when you take the step to cover up our logo. Even if you have our logo up, it's not okay. But then you cover up our logo, piss off, because we're going to file a copyright strike. Just letting you know. Welcome, new Status Coup member. Holy cow, it's raining members now. Welcome, new Status Coup member, Kerry. We're now at 1,933. I think we can get 2 more while I'm still live. I think we can get 2 more Status Coup members so we could get to 10 new members while I'm live. I got to actually go to the mall to pick up some stuff for my honeymoon. But I think we could get 2 more while I'm live so we could round this out to 10 new members while I'm live. So statuscoup.com/join. Actually, for those of you who are artistic, here's my beautiful sign that I made when I went on Jimmy Dore, and I've kept it. Statuscoup.com/join. $5 a month. Support on the ground reporting. Really appreciate it. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think this is the biggest story in America. I think it's outrageous, frankly, that CNN's barely covering it. I think it's outrageous that MSNBC's barely covering it. I think it is outrageous that, I don't know, the New York Times, Washington Post, the Associated Press, they're basically just doing what they always do, which is regurgitating the neutral robot journalism. Well, the family says this. The district attorney says this. They won't give us the video, so you figure it out. That's not journalism. That's stenography. You are the New York Times. You are the Washington Post. You are CNN. You are MSNBC. What does the Washington Post say? Democracy dies in the darkness? Shame the judge. Shame the district attorney. Call it what it is, a cover-up. Again, I'm happy to say, if they release the footage and it shows what they claim is on there, and it shows that the shooting is justified, I will be happy to say, I don't think they went about it the right way. They should have released this a while ago. But, what they said is true, and this is not, a cover-up or murder or whatever. But if they're not going to show it, I'm going to keep saying it. If they're not going to show it, I'm going to keep saying it. And I don't know if CNN and MSNBC and the New York Times fancy themselves as these brave journalists. Well, maybe they should start practicing journalism. Maybe they should start practicing journalism and demanding the video. This is not 1992 and Rodney King. This isn't even, years ago with Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown. It is much different now. And God knows how many other black men and brown men, and now black women, have been murdered by police, and they're covering up the video from getting released. And we don't know their names. These people. By the way, thanks for the super chat. John War, $5. Breaking news, just found out the police there in this case illegally stole the footage from the Brown residence security cameras. I don't know who you're saying found that out. You could send me the info if you have it, because that would be interesting. info@statuscoup.com if you have that. We also got, I think they call it a bit on Twitch. Welcome, hi to our Twitch viewers. Father Creamy, show love. 100. I don't know what that means, 100 bits. I need to learn Twitch a little more. But thanks for the support on Twitch. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks to our new members, too. Let me read them out again, and hopefully we get 2 more while I'm live. I want to read a couple viewer questions and comments, too. Welcome, Kerry. Welcome, Ira. Welcome, Carla. Welcome, Tracy. Welcome, Ashley. Welcome, Shoba. And welcome, Matthew. Woohoo! Oh, and Misha. Forgot Misha. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 new members since we've been live. Really, really exciting. Again, John is going to be live tonight. So if you got plans tonight, hopefully you could amend them, because as far as I can tell, we're the only ones actually on the ground covering this. Excuse me, Ford Fisher is there too. He's a good journalist who goes around the country too. So we're one of the only ones covering this. And we've been covering it all week, and we plan on being there all weekend because there will be continued protests. And frankly, part of why status quo exists is because these things continue to happen because the corporate media allows police departments to do this with impunity. The corporate media allows politicians to be corrupt and take legal bribes to sell you down the river. And the corporate media doesn't actually challenge them. Why is CNN just reporting, well, the district attorney says this, but the family says this? Why don't you, CNN, demand that they release the tapes? You're allowed to do that. You're a journalist. Demand transparency. Why don't you, CNN, question the judge? Why don't you, CNN, investigate? What is this judge's track record? Why don't you, CNN, do some investigating on the ground? I know you have the resources. And see, is this police department have corruption problems? Does this local district attorney have corruption problems? City council, what kind of community is this? You have a lot more resources than status quo does. It's really unbelievable. You got a neighbor right now. You got family right now. All saying, the neighbor who was on Eyewitness said, this is not what happened. He didn't reverse his car into people. He didn't drive his car forward. You got families saying the same thing. You got the 20 seconds of the tape that they did release to the family, where the attorney said they started shooting. The tape shows they were shooting immediately, and they were literally shooting him while saying, show us your hands. What else do you need to show that they are lying, that these cops are lying? And again, I'm 99% sure the police are monitoring our live streams and our Twitter. So, sorry, we're not going to just bow down to you. We're not protesting. We're covering the protests. And we're also saying, show the tapes. My in-laws will be watching. My dog, Millie. Millie's okay. She just got her hard cast, my dog, just got her hard cast removed, and they replaced it with a soft bandage because she has 2 fractures on her leg. So don't even bring up my dog right now. My wife is a mess leaving my dog for our honeymoon. I said, you better not talk about our dog on the honeymoon. We got pools to lay out, margaritas to drink, hiking, food. I don't want you hysterical about the dog. I'll miss the dog too, but the dog will survive. The dog will be loved. My in-laws are watching the dog. She'll be fed. She'll be rubbed. She'll be loved. Baby Millie. Holy cow, you guys delivered 2 new members. Holy cow. Matthew just signed up. Robert just signed up. We are now at 1,935. Oh my God, you guys, I just can't. I really believe, I want to remind you for the new members, as a new member, you get access to our members only Discord. I see new members have been in the Discord this week. Welcome. I go in there sometimes too. Jen goes in there sometimes too. You get access to our monthly members call. I'm sorry we have slacked on the members call this month. We've been a little busy with John's reporting in Minneapolis. John's reporting now on the ground in Elizabeth City. Unfortunately, Jen has been sick, suffering with COVID. Long haul COVID. Today, she's been out because she got her second vaccine shot. She got her second vaccine shot yesterday, and she's got a high fever from it today. But when I get back from my honeymoon, we will do the members call. So we won't, we're trying our best, but it's hard to do the members call, which we do at night, when we have protests that we're protest coverage every night, because Jen and I have to be available to do the live chat for John's reporting, do the push out the clips on Twitter. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes when we're not there supporting John. So definitely, we will do a members call when we're back. And you get great bonus content as a member. I uploaded a video for members the other day. If you don't know, if you're new, let me show you how you get to our members content on our website. So go to statuscoup.com, right there, statuscoup.com, and click on Become a Member right there, and you will see members content. And if you are a member, it will take you, that's my latest video. You also, as a member, get access to our documentary that we're still trying to get picked up. We did it years ago in Flint, where we exposed that they cheated on the water testing in Flint. Jen and I knocked on nearly 400 doors in the hot summer and the fall to find out that the environmental department under Governor Snyder was literally running Flint residents' water lines right before taking lead and copper samples, which is against the EPA regulations. So they were literally flushing lead away to then get lower numbers and declare the water problem over. So you could watch that documentary as a member. We are, those that have asked, we've been trying to get it picked up. It's not our specialty, but we're trying to get it picked up. If we don't get it picked up, we're just going to release it to the whole public ourselves. The new person who is joining us in a few weeks is going to help with that. So we're looking forward to that. So I got to go. I got my honeymoon Sunday, so I got to actually go to the mall right now. I got to get some shirts and underwear because I'm running low on both. Thank you to our new members. We will be live tonight. John will be live tonight. So make sure you are on our text list if you're not already, so you'll get a text message when we're live. Text COUP to 370. Text COUP to 370. The more people that sign up for the text message, the more people that will be able to see it, because YouTube will not notify you. YouTube will not notify you when we are live. I promise you. If they notify you, it will be an hour late or a day late, or they won't notify you at all. I don't get it. Some people get the notification. Most people don't. So join our text list. Shout out to Sam, who helped us in the live chat yesterday and today. Myra, $9.99 in the super chat. Thank you. I will be kind of unplugging or trying to unplug on my honeymoon. I'm going to do my best not to look at the news. I'm going to do my best not to look at status quo. I haven't had a real break for 3 years. I've been working 6 to 7 days a week for 3 years. Kind of burned me out, to tell you the truth. So I'm going to try not to tweet. I'm going to try to really just go off the grid and enjoy my wife and my honeymoon. So thank you. Again, John will be live, I don't know when, but tonight. So make sure you're on our text list. Thank you. Thank you to our new members. I'll see you when I'm back. Peace out.